All right, so can you hear me right now? Test, test. Can you hear me right now? All right, I don't know if you can hear me right now. Is it okay?
Yeah, I hear you. Let me go.
So the Steam engine right here that I was talking about, a lot of these games like Braid and etc. are made by on the Unity engine, and you can skin them any which way you want. If you've ever heard of Rust, the survival zombie shooter game, or Left 4 Dead 2 or 4, those are Unity engine games or Steam Valve games. Like, so I'll boot up Braid quick. You can go watch your own. Oh no, Braid's. I haven't installed Braid on this computer in a while, so it's gonna reinstall it for me. Never mind. But anyways, it's a big market.
Maybe play this on Saturday, then on Sunday as well. Dependent if dependent on if dependent if. The original was different teams, so it's not the same one.
So this one is Braid, and it's a puzzle game, platform puzzle game where you go out, hop around collecting the puzzle pieces for it.
Okay, I see it.
So it got
Cool.
yeah, dude, this game got Game of the Year. It's the first big indie game, and the year that it came out, it was the best-selling game of all genres that came out. One dude designed it, and it took him like 3 or 4 years of working, and of learning to make other games, and then he came to this particular game, and about half the time was spent on that. So probably like 3-ish years, I'd say, between learning how to program and how to make this game and testing it over and over again with like hundreds of people and shit.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, but he killed it, man. Microsoft, Sony, nobody made a better game that year, you know?
Yeah. Play a little bit, I want to see.
All right, it's kind of a punk to play, and what you got to understand about Braid is it's a time spatial puzzle game. Um, the shit doesn't move right sometimes, and when it's got like the little green, that's the puzzle. It's immune to the rules of the normal physics or whatever. And instead of dying, you just rewind back to when you're alive again.
That's not bad.
And that's worked into the puzzle pieces. So there's a lot of shit that I don't get sometimes on the game, but it looks just like Mario otherwise. But when you read this, oh God, let me go to the first map. So yeah, this is really frustrating. I've downloaded the Discord server and I can't get the Discord application to transmit while I'm in any of my games. Each of these books, each of those books right there tells a story. Each of those books right there tells a little bit of the story that and there's supposed to be clues to the rest of the levels on this map or whatever, this zone. And this is like chapter 2, I want to say. And basically it's the dude talking about how he went off to find his princess because he's got the ability to rewind time, but he's rewound it so many times he can't remember which times actually happened to her in his attempts to try. Yeah, it really fucked him up. And so in an attempt to find her again and make it right for a final time, and be perfect for her, you know.
Yeah. Oh shit, that was cool. What's up, fuck? Oh shit.
Yeah, those are the puzzle pieces, those little black outlines, and you can see in the upper left corner I've already collected those.
Oh yeah, I see it. That's pretty cool, man.
Anyways, I just want to show you there's some really cool games out there, and the graphics don't even matter, neither for Unity nor for Unreal. You just go and buy them, and that's kind of like the part I wanted to show you here next. And it's more than that. In the upper corner of the Steam game, you can get a. I keep remembering shit as I go along here. So they have their own Xbox controller software for Steam, and but like you get your own controller, and you can buy controller setups from the programming group that somebody else already made for you. Are you still there, by the way?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, just
typing.
good stuff, good stuff. And so when I go in the Unity engine,
No, I can't hear you. I can't hear you now.
yeah, I'm just doing something quick. So I got the Unity engine here. I have a pretty unspeakable search history. I've been doing some research to help some friend on some different stuff that's they're kind of transitioning and shit, and they have some really weird. Anyways, I do some pretty adult activities, and I'm a member of one of these bondage communities and shit. So I won't go into all that right now, but maybe another day if you want. Yeah, I've been doing that for like 20 years. So right now, my search history is more sensational than normal, especially in this time period, with the Trump thing going the way it is.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, what I was to show you is I showed you the Steam has their own little controller and everything else in there, and so they have what they call an asset store for Unity, and you can go and buy your own Steam controller in here.
Damn.
And so they're right here, Cardboard. If you want to make a 3D Google Cardboard game, boom, you can buy a controller for it. Spaceflight controls, easy touch controls, adjustable, simple action. I'll show you the ones that are really cool. Have you ever heard of MechWarrior?
No.
So this one right here is called HoneyHex Frame. It's $75 to buy, and it's from a shop that made the software for the MechWarrior game on Steam.
Oh shit, the Shadow of War. I heard that was a good game.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's really funny. So this one is BattleTech, and
Dungeon.
in BattleTech they use that hex, that $75 purchase of the Hexel stuff. And so yeah, so the that BattleTech uses this hex mode for $75 that they bought, and once they buy it, they can use it for whatever games they want, etc.
For sure.
And you see here, there's videos and tutorials for it that you can go and watch on how to use it and play with it and everything else. But basically, any part of a game you want to buy and then adapt it all to make one complete game is doable. I don't do graphics. My ex-girlfriend does graphics, and she said that she'll adapt models and help make a game for me. I don't want to be super complicated or anything else. I played some simple side-scrolling, like non-three-dimensional versions of like Clash of the Titans and those type of games. I've never seen the one you were talking about. What's the game you play again?
Oh, the Dawn of Titans. Pretty competitive, man. Competitive as fuck.
Yeah, so that's a pretty standard strategy game. It might have different elements from other games and everything else, but I'm looking at it and it looks really like it looks like Civilization, Sid Meier's Civilization from the '85 or whatever, but with better graphics.
Yeah.
And then pay to win because that didn't exist back then.
Yeah, crazy.
I like those type of games. Actually, that's originally what I started out trying to make.
Oh, really? Yeah, because it makes money.
I'll show you the one that I've been working on. I've just been doing the back end of it. I haven't been doing the visual side of it. So it's all represented in text right now, but the tie-ins are pretty much there already for somebody to go and represent it graphically with special like the Clash of the Titans type if you want to make a 3D world. Sorry, I got to bring up two servers before I can actually serve the game off of a web page,
Yeah.
I bound, like, there's some decently complicated commands, and so I had to bind them into a little macro so I could remember them. So this is the game that I made. Like right now, all I have is the ability for players to log in. Like right now, this will force me to log in. I've got security in place. And then once I log in, it will show me my player list, and then it will list all the other players on the players page. Eventually, I have to trim it down so it only shows up in the dashboard. Like this is the dashboard. This is only stuff that I own and I've made with my user that I'm logged into. And I can go and show a campaign that I made. Obviously, there's no information really in here because I'm just generating it off of a Lord of the Rings book that somebody else uploaded on the internet. And so then I can, here's my player. I can show the next player. There's this information in there, not much filled in. And then you can edit it and change stuff about it right there. And then it backs up there. And so when you go to show that guy again, now it shows that little line that I typed in there. And I'm going to go back to dashboard here. And so now dashboard is the list of the players I control in different other people's games. And then campaign list is all the games that I'm running myself. Each one of these could have like hundreds of players play or thousands or millions. It wouldn't even matter. I would just add another server on the backside for the database and 3 or 4 web servers to float the game,
Damn.
Yeah, because I'm using Ruby on Rails, and so it scales extremely. It's said to be a little bit slower programming wise, or sorry, it's faster to write your program in it, but it's set not to perform as well as some of the more optimized versions like Google runs on, etc. But or not Google, but Facebook. But Facebook wrote their own programming language after they graduated from PHP, which is just a dumb version of what Ruby on Rails does, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, like they wrote their own damn language, and I'm actually part of one of my like 17 steps to success or whatever is I have a test project in here. No, never mind. I deleted it. But I had a test project where I made the Google, or sorry, the Facebook style, they call it GraphQL, and it allows you to serve the minimal amount of information as required by the person using your server instead of just sending everything in one big dump, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's extremely fast and it scales very well. And so I learned how to use that like a month ago. And right now I'm learning how to encapsulate all my stuff into different sections so none of the parts of games don't have to talk to each other if you don't want to. And I can just take that whole this whole campaign list right here and the management of it and then the dashboard. And I can just take those and drop them into any game, or anybody else can buy that software a code that I wrote and make their game up and just concentrate on writing the game instead of having to write the login system and everything else, you know?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so I'm pretty far along on that section of it. I just need to learn some things about how to troubleshoot if something goes wrong and feed the errors back nicely into other people's code base, you know? But as a detour, as a reward to myself, I go back over to the Unity engine here. And where is it at? Yeah, so they've got all the assets, and I can just build the game much faster, much prettier, you know, in the Unity stuff. Their asset store is off the fucking wall. You want to buy music files? You can buy music files, you know? Like, so you can even buy your characters. Some of these are pretty shitty. There's no doubt about it. Horses, tons of cats. I don't know what it is. Fucking Unity loves cats, dude. Ooh, a Velociraptor. That's pretty cool. Not super advanced or anything else, but it's only $2. And during the Black Friday, it's going to go on sale for half off or less, you know. But right now, so what I've been looking at is Udemy offers these courses. And so I can buy for $50, I can buy a crap ton of courses. Some of these have 6 games that are already built, so I can learn how to build them. And that's what I've been up to. And if you want to learn to make some games, dude, it's fucking cool.
Yeah, if I had the time for that shit.
Man, I tell you, when you're playing this game, that's what you're burning.
Yeah, that might be true. But it is true.
If you're not motivated to do it, though, I just wanted to show off how cool it is because I've been excited about.
When people be streaming that shit, people be streaming like 4 to 6 hours and everything.
Oh, for the game? For the Lineage 2 Revolutions?
Yeah, a lot of people will stream that game. A lot of people.
I haven't watched any of those streams, but I need to because I need to figure out how to use my quest scrolls.
What you mean you quest scrolls?
I ain't used a single quest scroll, dude.
Why not, bro?
Well, somebody told me if I keep my lower level quest scrolls, I can bind them to an upper level quest and get the upper level quest do and just blow ahead or faster.
Yeah, you can do that. But I mean, if you have like green, a gray quest roll, do that shit. And you get you like 50,000 XP.
Dude, I have some S grades laying around too.
Shit, what I'm doing? Oh shit, I gotta post my I didn't know this.
Fucking phone fell asleep while I was chatting you up, man.
I'll go to read
Yeah, so I've been working on this also. This is the 3D rudder program I was telling you about. It's actually a disc down on my floor.
Let me see it. Wait.
So this is the control board for it.
The keyboard more for it.
What it is it's this red disc right here with the black. You put your feet on it, and it allows you to walk around in the game.
Seriously?
You can link up through Bluetooth, or you can link up through a USB cord into the charger port. It is pretty crazy, man.
Damn.
You're supposed to use it with virtual reality, and so I want to get into programming some of that stuff. Like this dude right here's got the racing game or whatever, you know. So it shows his feet as he's watching the screen, but the screen's being projected to him through his goggles, and so it's going back and forth. I don't know if this is a good demo actually, but you can see him move his feet, and he's walking and shit and getting in and everything else. It's maybe not as sharp. I need to tune mine because I'm not as good as that, I guess, right now. But the basic idea is you sit in your chair, you got this little disc, and then you set up your settings and you tune them with this right here. And so I've been playing around trying to get it so I don't have to move very far in order to trigger my commands, and I can drive my tank in World of Tanks.
Damn, that's crazy.
Well, the reason I bring it up to you is because this the whole tangent of what we were talking about tonight was originally about the game management and how you could be a better leader or whatever with the in the combat. Because have you watched the stream where the makers of the game have the fights and they have everybody together and you watch them fight and nobody's talking because it takes time to type?
Yeah.
So my idea is you hook this up to your phone somehow for the command pad, and you turn around and you use that to move around on the board, and then like this command right there, the W key, is when you push down on the W and push up. Basically, the black are the depression spots, and if you push down on these two spots right there, this one with your heel and that one with your toe, then you will be able to fire off a command. And over here, you tell it if it's hold down, repeat the command, or repeat it and get heavier each time you do it. Then this is the key, and then as you push it harder and harder, there's a second key you can trigger. So same thing over here on the right. I could lean over and at 10%, the D key engages. When I get out to the 100%, then whatever key I assign would also engage. So you can have two commands bound to it, like one for walk and one for run, or one for duck and walk and one for normal walk, you know? So what I was thinking is when you're commanding the fights, you're going to need as many buttons as you can get your hands on, your hands as free as possible to move around a little bit. And you move using the rudder, and then you control your whatever with one hand, and then you work with your computer with the other hand to hit your hotkeys or whatever else for the Discord. Like, say you want to command an attack or you ping a section or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know what the actual applications would be, but I do know I can use it to play tanks and move around. I can't set up a webcam because I don't have a webcam over at my place. Otherwise, I'd show you using my rudder while I play the tanks game. It's kind of nifty. It's a little frustrating sometimes, though. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, so that's the other thing I work on. When I do these games, I also want to get the control pad worked in there too, you know, so you have this more immersive experience going on.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fucking cool. But the last thing, I know you said you weren't really interested, but it's not really programming what you do in. I mean, it is in Unity, but it's also not. They call it scripting because it's like low level programming of some sort.
Yeah.
Screw it. Oh, it was booting up. Jesus, that takes forever. I got a pretty beefy computer, but this thing was taking for fucking ever, man. So what was your, when you got out, were you in the Army, you said?
No, Marine Corps, man.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, this is the game I did. Have you ever played? No, you didn't play with Warcrafts or Starcrafts, but it basically looks like a standard map designer, and you have little objects in there, and then you assign values to them over here on the right side. Normally, I do it by dragging something over there and just letting it go. I just grab it and drag it over and dump it into that little column over there. I don't really want to do that because I already got this game set up and saved and everything. But the coding part comes in on the back end. You can see here. So like here for the restart, I had to make a restart button, and then I put the coding in there. And I got to remember, because I've only made one. This is the only game I've made in this, and I only do it on weekends when I have made a lot of progress in my normal programming. It's kind of like a treat to myself, you know?
Yeah.
There we go. So it's my game object, and I need to open it somehow. Oh, there's my scripts. Okay, here we go. So grid space is the scripting. That's the actual programming. That's like it. You can easily learn to do it. And let me just say this: Visual Basic is like the most basic language ever, and hundreds of thousands of people learn to use it every single year to code in Microsoft Excel. You know. So it's not hard at all or anything else. And this language is a step up from there because it's more powerful. But you literally can go out on the internet, grab a chunk of code to do something, and then adapt it to fit your game in very minimalistic amounts of time. Once you kind of get a flow for how everything connects up. And they've got all those videos on Lynda and Udemy and everything else for free, you know?
That's a lot of stuff.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I've been working on. I mean, I just got the rudder and started working on that last week, and I haven't really done any coding stuff with it. But I spent like probably 3 hours learning how to use the Unity engine following this tutorial, and it wasn't hard. I literally just followed along with it and showed me everything, explained shit for me. All right. Yep, here you go. Unity tutorial. Well, here's the ad first, but
You should take this online Unity course.
so it literally walks you through everything, and the dude talks you through it, and then you can go find the links for it. And so it took about 2 hours or 3 hours to get where I was at in that demo. But it literally showed me every single step until I got to writing this code stuff. And then it showed me all that too. And there's another page where they have all the code. So you could just grab it and copy and paste it in there, you know? So, I mean, that's all I got. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. And I think I can just take myself offline by ending the stop sharing, gets rid of that, and then I close the broadcast down afterwards.
That's not bad. That's a pretty good stream when you got there.
It's default settings. You can go. There's actually a link on there to go get your adding your own encoding software to it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it is a really like it can be as professional or as low grade as you want on the YouTube one.